NFL Daily is presented by Magic Spoon. Before we get into the latest news and rumors around some of the biggest players like Carson Wentz, Cam Newton, newly free agent running back Latavius Murray, and I'm going to go ahead and react to some stuff that Stephen A. Smith and just, why is this guy talking about football? But bottom line is this, whether you guys are trying to eat healthier or whether you want just some badass cereal, go to MagicSpoon.com/chat. $5 off your very first order. All I'm saying is this, you can still eat healthy and it actually tastes good. MagicSpoon.com/chat. The first thing coming up here is going to be around quarterback Carson Wentz. And earlier today, Wentz had a report come out that says he was going to be a full participant at practice and that he's going to play week 1 up against the Seattle Seahawks. So if you hop into that time machine, you go back to early August where there was a report that came out with Wentz, hey, he might not play the first few games this season. He could be out 5 to 12 weeks was the initial injury diagnosis. And sure, 5 to 12 weeks is a very large span, but if there is one thing that I've kind of bet against, is Carson Wentz going to be healthy or not? And usually when I'm given the 5 to 12 week span for Wentz, I'm going to go closer to the 10, 11, 12. So I am going to go ahead and give Wentz some credit. I'm also going to give some credit to the Colts medical staff. Now, obviously, when they went out and they traded for the former Eagles quarterback, a lot of the concentration, a lot of the eyes are going to be on him and how he succeeds with Frank Reich. Remember, him and Frank Reich were together in 2017, which I actually think is one of the biggest reasons why Wentz decided to come over to Indianapolis. And the last time you saw that combination, you saw an MVP caliber quarterback. Now, the amount of stats you see on screen, again, that's not a full season, but 3,296 yards, 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. I mean, by all accounts, I honestly believe if he would have continued to do what he was doing in Philly, he would have went ahead and won the MVP. I actually can remember the day that I was sitting at the Philadelphia airport getting ready to fly back to Dallas when Wentz underwent that serious ACL injury, and ever since then has never quite been the same. So what do we do here at Chat Sports? We ask questions and we give you guys the latest news and rumors. So every single one of y'all, whether you're watching this live or whether you watch it on a later date, will Carson Wentz play the entire season? Yes, all 17 games. Remember, 17 games. If you're like, you know what, Mitch, hell yeah, I'm going to go ahead and bet on this kid, I want you to type that Y for yes. If you're like, I can't do that, there's no way I can believe in Carson Wentz playing all 17, type your N for no. As much as I want to type my Y for yes, sorry, man. I got to go ahead and type my N for no. The next story coming up here is from Tom Pelissero, and it's around quarterback Cam Newton. So this is a tweet that came out today at 11:43 a.m. That's Central Time. Free agent quarterback Cam Newton says on Instagram he has a lot to get off his chest in a forthcoming video Friday, but makes it clear this is not a retirement speech, and I have a lot of football still in me. So at first when I saw it, I was like, all right, he's going to retire. And then I kept on reading a little bit. I'm like, all right, well, let me give him a little bit of benefit of the doubt. Maybe he's going to try to make a pitch and say, hey, I still can play. I want to play for a few of these teams. Maybe he's just going to flat out say, hey, I am on this team. You just never know with Cam Newton. So here's my question, y'all. Where do y'all think Cam Newton is going to play this year? If there's an NFL team that pops up into your mind, I want you to go ahead and pop that name down in the comments. But if you're like, you know what? I think he's done. I don't think he's going to play for another team. You can go ahead and type retire. If you are curious about where we think Cam Newton could end up playing here at Chat Sports, I actually made this video the day that he was released by the New England Patriots. So if you haven't already subscribed to Chat Sports, what the hell are y'all waiting for? Go ahead, hit that big red button, or you can take that link, youtube.com/chatsportstv. But we do videos like this all the time. We go live literally multiple times a week. We give you guys daily videos, right now 2 a day on our main YouTube channel, and we release fun content like Cam Newton destinations. So if you haven't already seen it, go ahead and check it out on the YouTube channel. Is Latavius Murray on his way to the Tennessee Titans? Mitchell Rentz here from Chat Sports, ready to break down the latest around the Tennessee Titans. So the New Orleans Saints, they released their running back Latavius Murray on Tuesday. Now, sure, they have Alvin Kamara. They have a few other pieces there. They've actually already released Devonta Freeman this offseason as well. But Pro Football Network released an article about the top 5 teams that should go out and sign the free agent running back. One of the teams that was linked was the Tennessee Titans. When you talk about depth overall at a position, I believe the Titans have maybe the best running back in the entire league. But besides him, it's not pretty whatsoever. No offense to Jeremy McNichols and Sargent there. They're not what you're looking for. And then their other running back, Evans, he just got put on the IR as well. So realistically, you don't have a lot of confidence. And if Evans wouldn't have been put on the IR, I actually think they would have went ahead and cut McNichols because, let's face it here, he was really bad. I mean, in that final preseason game, I believe he had 5 carries for -9 yards. The offseason reports were not solid. So when I think about, okay, if I want a tough-nosed running back that can run behind this offensive line, maybe you go out and get the L train. Sure, he's not Derrick Henry. Breaking news, nobody is Derrick Henry. But he is 6'3", 230 pounds, and he's a tough-nosed running back. So if, God forbid, Henry does fall down and you need another running back to step in, you're not going to trust any of those other players. I'm sorry, you're not. Latavius Murray would be a clear upgrade over anybody that currently the Titans have right now. So what I want you guys to do right now is type S for sign, or I want you to type that P for pass. If you were Tennessee, if you were Mike Vrabel, would you go up, would you pick up the phone and say, hey, I want Latavius Murray on this roster. You guys need to make it happen. If you're like, you know what, yeah, absolutely, type S for sign. If you're like, you know what, I'm going to pass on him, you can type P for pass. I'm going to say, yeah, you go out and you get Latavius Murray because he is the top free agent running back out there. And with guys like Le'Veon Bell signing with the Ravens, with somebody even like Devonta Freeman getting workouts in situations, hell, I mean, no disrespect to Peyton Barber. He just signed with the Raiders. Latavius Murray is a much better running back than all those guys I just mentioned. And when you look at my top 5 free agent running backs left out there, sure, Todd Gurley had a great touchdown numbers last season, but his knees, man, are just, they're worse than a hooker in Las Vegas. Let's face it. Then you got Kerryon Johnson, Adrian Peterson, Devonta Freeman. Latavius Murray is clearly the best free agent running back out there. And for a team that, sure, you went out, you got Julio Jones, you have A.J. Brown, you got Josh Reynolds as your wide receiver 3, and Ryan Tannehill is one of the most underappreciated quarterbacks in the league. But you know what? It's still a run-first team. And all I'm trying to do is, just in case Derrick Henry goes down, you got plan B. You don't ever want to use plan B, but once in a while, you got to go ahead and do it. So where do you guys think Latavius Murray is going to sign? Let me know down in the comments section. Coming up real quick here, we're going to be breaking down some of the top 5 most likely destinations for Murray. Before I give you guys my list, what is Chat Sports about? Letting me know down in the comments section. So my top 5 teams for Murray, the Tennessee Titans, and again, these aren't ranked in any particular order. The Las Vegas Raiders, they've been trying out running backs left and right. The New York Jets, I mean, realistically, they don't have much depth there behind Tevin Coleman and then Carter, the guy they just drafted this year. The Miami Dolphins have been looking the entire offseason. And sure, the Ravens just went ahead and added a running back to their 53-man roster and signed Le'Veon Bell to the practice squad, but Murray's better than both of those guys. If you haven't already, go ahead and get Magic Spoon cereal at magicspoon.com/chat. $5 off your very first order. If you're looking for a mouthful of cereal, then look no further than Magic Spoon. 13 grams of protein, 4 grams of net carbs, and 0 grams of sugar. Think about a bowl of cereal that has less than 150 calories in it. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. If you had a bowl of Fruit Loops, like just a bowl, you're talking about like 360 calories. So not only can you eat the cereal that you grew up with a kid, you can also be a little bit healthier as well. I mean, I get it. I'm getting up there in age a little bit, and I can't eat the way that I used to be able to eat, though I can still put food away. Here's the thing, I can eat as much of this cereal as I want because it's actually good for you. If you're sick and tired of those protein shakes, if you're sick and tired of juicing, if I have to hear my girlfriend turn on that freaking blender one more time and juice some celery or some apples, I don't know what, I'm going to lose my mind. I've been telling her, eat some Magic Spoon cereal at magicspoon.com/chat. If you're dealing with the same issues I am, seriously, down in the comments, down in the description, take advantage of our deal. So the next thing coming up here on today's show is I'm going to be reacting to Stephen A. Smith's top 5 Super Bowl threats. My first reaction, who the hell calls Super Bowl favorites threats, contenders? There's so many other words you can use. The fact that Stephen A. Smith called them Super Bowl threats makes me want to rip my hair out and be like, why the hell does this guy talk about the NFL? If he wants to talk about the NBA, That's fine. Let him do that. But why is he talking about the NFL? I could name 100 people that would be better off for it. My mother would be included in that list. So in terms of some Stephen A. Super Bowl threats, oh my God, I can't even say it with a straight face. He's got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Kansas City Chiefs, Packers, Rams. The only team that I have a real problem with here is the New England Patriots. And the reason why I don't really like Stephen A. is because he just puts teams like the Patriots on there because, to credit to him, he's going to get some schmuck like me to go ahead and talk about it. And that's the other problem with Stephen A. He's too hot takey because when you really think about it, listen to him talk. And he has no business talking about football. And what does he do? He just starts talking about the most ridiculous stuff that you possibly can. And then they go ahead, they put it all over the place, and people share it. I get part of the game, but another reason to subscribe to Chat Sports, we don't do that kind of stuff. We actually have guys around the office like Harrison Graham, Tom Downey. I'll even throw my name in the list there. Chase Sr., all over the place that actually know what the hell they're talking about. So let's have some fun here, right? Let's rip apart Stephen A. Scale from 0 to 100. I want you to rate his football knowledge. And I'm just going to say this. I realistically should have put this at 0 to 50 because if anybody puts a number over 50, I'm just going to be like, you might be worse than him. So rate Stephen A.'s football knowledge. I'm going to go ahead and say anything under 50 is going to go ahead and work. Now, my Super Bowl favorites, which is, by the way, the correct word, or contenders, not a threat, makes 0 sense, is the Buccaneers, Chiefs, Bills, Packers, and the Rams. So the reason why I have the Bills and Chiefs, because I think the AFC is the tougher division. The top two teams to really take down the Buccaneers, I do think is the Aaron Rodgers MVP, and then the Rams. If Matthew Stafford can just be a top 10 if he's a top 10 quarterback, that's a Super Bowl caliber team because of how great that defense is, led by Aaron Donald, led by Jalen Ramsey. Sure, they have some issues with their running back situation right now, but Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, probably two of the most underrated wide receiver duo in the league. Here are my Super Bowl favorites. So let me know down in the comments, y'all, who is going to win the Super Bowl this upcoming season. I got 144 people watching, 69 live likes. Nice. So let me know down in those comments right now who is going to win the upcoming Super Bowl. Curious what you guys have to say. Now, if you're watching this live, if you want to shout out here on today's live show, go ahead and give Chat Sports a follow on Twitter at Chat Sports, or wait, here, you can also see it on screen here. You can go ahead and follow them at Chat Sports, both on screen and down below. If you didn't know how to spell it, well, now you do. Now, if you're not watching this on a live show, you can always give Chat Sports a follow. That way you guys can stay up to date on NFL news, NFL rumors, all the videos we're putting out, and a lot of the takes that a lot of our hosts have during the shows. So the next thing we're going to be talking about here is Thursday Night Football. The Dallas Cowboys up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Sure, Dallas is going to be on the road up against the defending Super Bowl champs, but when I saw the spread on this one, I was like, my God, I mean, 9-point underdogs. Mind-blowing to me. The over-under in this one is 52. I get it that Dak Prescott has been battling some injuries. I get it that the Buccaneers won the Super Bowl and have Tom Brady. But 9 points is the largest spread of the Week 1 games. That's mind-blowing to me. So, that's kind of interesting. Something else that I found a little bit interesting, and I'm all for players having hype or believing in themselves, but when I saw what Amari Cooper had to say on the Dallas Morning News, I almost spit out my Magic Spoon cereal, and I was like, dude, come on. Cooper said, I think I am the best wide receiver in the league. Now, sure, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to look at y'all and be like, what are you expecting him to say? If anybody out there is getting in an interview, any NFL athlete for the most part is probably going to look at you and say, I'm the best receiver in the league. To be honest, I bet you Kevin White still goes on shows and say, hey, I think I'm the best receiver in the league, which, again, I'd be like, sorry, dude, you're not whatsoever. So what I thought would be kind of fun is before I give you guys my top 5, and even I got Marshall Green's top 5 wide receivers in the league, let's go ahead and look at Amari Cooper's stats, his first 5 seasons, right, in the league. Actually, I believe this is not first 5 seasons, the last 5 seasons. So 2016, 2017. 83 grabs, 1,153 yards, 5 touchdowns with the Raiders. Then in 2017 was his real downfall of a season. 2018, he started the year off with Oakland and then ended up going to Dallas where he had a much better finish. And then over the last 2 seasons, he's been pretty productive. I mean, 92 grabs, 1,114 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Now, usually, I would be like, hey, is Amari Cooper the best receiver in the league? And then you guys would be like, Mitch, no, he's not. So here's my point. We know that Amari Cooper is not the best wide receiver in the league, but he is a very good player. And the fact when you look at his age and you're like, wow, he's still pretty freaking young. I mean, when he came out in the league, I don't think he was even 20 years old yet. So he's got a lot of talent. Sure, he's had some drop issues in the past, but if you're going to sit here and say that you're the best receiver in the league, I was like, shit, my job as a host here is at least give you guys my top 5 wide receivers. So here they are, my top 5 receivers right now in the league. I got DeAndre Hopkins at number 1, and that's because I have seen DeAndre Hopkins play with quarterbacks that you can't even believe that he's still being able to put up numbers with. It's really as simple as that. Devontae Adams coming off an 18-touchdown season. He's been great, but he also has Aaron Rodgers. Tyreek Hill might actually be one of the most difficult people to cover simply because there's nobody like him I've ever seen. Julio Jones. A lot of people are going to be like, really, Mitch, Julio Jones? I just simply believe when fully healthy, there is nobody more talented in the league than Jones. That's why he makes my top 5. And then Stephon Diggs, 129 grabs last year, phenomenal route runner, and really helped elevate Josh Allen's game. But you know what? You guys always see me on screen, and I appreciate everyone who's watching. But if it wasn't for Marshall behind the scene, you guys, we would not have a video today. So I was like, Marsh, give me your top 5 wide receivers. Is Amari Cooper on there? And breaking news, he's not in either of our top 5 lists. So Marshall and I is kind of similar. Hopkins, Adams, Hill. He's got Stephon Diggs at 4, and then Calvin Ridley at number 5. So that, I thought that was kind of interesting. He just whispered in my ear, big year. Big year. So what about Amari Cooper here? Is he a top 10 wide receiver? Is he in your top 10? If he is, I want you to go ahead and type I for in. If you're like, you know what, he's outside of my top 10, I want you to type O for out. If you're a fan of In-N-Out over Whataburger, hey, let me know down in the comments. That's probably a whole nother argument that we could get into here. Is Amari Cooper in the top 10 for wide receivers? Type I for N, or I want you to type O for out. Not only do I not think he's not in the top 5, not only do I think he's not the best receiver in the league, he's not even in my top 10. Now, that's not a rip on him. He is in my top 15, but there's just a lot of other players that I would still be able to put over Amari because in terms of a talent standpoint, I could actually put Amari as top 10 talent. He's just a little bit too inconsistent for me. Now, he did have a good year last season, especially dealing with all the quarterbacks not named Dak Prescott. However, I can't simply say that he is a top 10 receiver at this current moment.